at Schiaparelli, my first goal was to throw open the doors of the Place Vendôme and be as open and vulnerable about the creative process as possible. Because I've always felt like couture was such an exclusive, discreet, elite, which it is, world. But the creative process should be something that is available for everybody. That's what this is about. I want to take a moment to explain the triumphs and the tribulations of the making of this collection. Technically, I'm really proud of this piece, and I share that with the atelier because I think it's sort of a feat of engineering. This dress didn't have any of this here, and it laced up in the back. It didn't have the shoe. It was just a bustier with the basque, and then there was the tulle. It was basically the second to last look with all of the tulle. There's something about the tulle that wasn't feeling right. So in the fitting, we cut it all away. And then we started styling this with pants and with a pencil skirt, but that felt like something that we had already done before. We had a maquette that was developed inside the studio that were these petals that are little circles on fold that I thought we had like a little swatch like this, and in the fitting, it just kind of became something collaged with this garment in the fitting. And then we started to see the movement, and immediately I was like, okay, that's something new. That's something we've never done before. It's hundreds of petals of two different colors of one satin face organza and one triple organza alternating. So you get this sort of depth of color alternating. And then for the bustier, what's amazing is that there's a lot of boning in here, but you have this sort of seamless effect. So the way that that's done is that the bustier is cut in shape with all of the seams in corset toile. And the boning is all put in, and it's really like a rigid structure. It has to be to carry the weight of the petals. But then what they do is they layer on top of that this, like, they call it bolivar, that's like a lamb's wool texture that goes between the satin on top and the corset toile underneath. And it molds and hides all of the seams. And then in the fitting also, the shoe, I just love this fuck you at the back of this dress. Like, I love that you have something from the front that looks like maybe could have been designed in the 50s. And then here you have like someone that I'm working with said that in every great fragrance, there's a pebble in the boot. And that's what I like about the shoe. And that's why I like everything. There's always gonna be a pebble in the boot. It's a sense of humor, a sense of wit. But that's what the heel was for me. But I love this piece. And you can sit in it if it's a stool, but you can't sit in it if it's a chair. But you know what? I don't care. You don't have to sit in every one of these looks. When I was 13, I wanted to move to New York already to become a designer. My mom flew to New York with me, and we woke up in the morning, and as a surprise, she took me to Tiffany's, and we had donuts and a coffee in front of Tiffany's, and as to reenact because my mom kind of looks like Audrey Hepburn, and so I always loved that movie. So this was, in a way, I thought, a 2.0 version of the opening, that iconic Givenchy dress in Breakfast at Tiffany's. And it's navy satin, this little bralette in navy satin. We put these two little bows here, and the lace on the demi-cup, the lace has a little hand embroidered keyhole. Some people know that Hubert de Givenchy started as an intern for Elsa Schiaparelli. So we have a few of his sketches here in the Maison. So for me, it felt like a very fair, full circle moment to be reenacting that. And when she came out in the final fitting, we played the Henry Mancini theme song from Moon River from Breakfast at Tiffany's. So everyone knows about Schiaparelli's shoe hat, and I'm really always looking for ways to explore the ethos, and one of the characteristics of surrealism is really displacement. That was where we started here. I love that there's a symmetry between the lines of the bustiers and the lines of an amazing shoe. Then I really have wanted to start exploring this ribbon technique. It's not actually ribbons, it's a Duchess satin that's bonded to itself and then cut by hand. Each one of these pieces of ribbon is cut into shape. So it's not straight pieces, it's cut into shape as kind of like demi-lune half circles and then molded onto the hip. People were asking me why the hips, why the bump at the hip. And if you give the hip a little, they call it like a little kidney bump, it makes the waist look twice as small. So that's a lot of the couture. It's so subtle, it's literally millimeters, but it's about giving the eye something to respond to. I really love this piece, and I love the blush pink. It's such a vicious bustier shape. I think wanting to cut it with the sweetness of the blush pink felt really important. So she is the great illustration of how many different artisans it takes to create a look like this. So the embroidery is a vintage Schiaparelli embroidery from, 1932 or something. And it's black silk velvet that's pleated into a zigzag abstracted feather shape. And then there's a piece of black nylon crin that's folded with it as well. So it gives this sort of like fan effect behind the feather effect. I've seen this swatch for 5 years and in the Lesage archives, but never really known yet, it was never really the right time. Then again, wanted to fill this space. There's a photo of Elsa standing next to Salvador Dali, and she's wearing this wired skirt, which for me gives permission to do something like this. The question was, how do you make something transparent that has so much volume? And also, do you hide the structure or not hide the structure? So the structure was made by an artisan on the outskirts of Paris, who I die for. I love him. His name is Mr. Carrel, Alain Carrel. And he is part of one of the last living members of the school of Claude Lalande and François-Xavier Lalande. He was trained in their atelier. And he is the one who made the most iconic structures for Mugler, for John's Dior collections, the sleeve, all of those, this man. And he's probably, I think he's 84 now, 82. And he's working for us with so much grace and passion every season. He's making these structures that you don't even see sometimes inside of bustiers. So this was also about highlighting his contribution every season. And then it was also for me about making it modern and giving it some sort of ease. So we made it open in the back so that you can sit down. And also we made the overskirt, this metal structure, a belt. So it's an accessory. So you have a little pencil dress underneath with a velvet mini skirt. And then this whole thing comes off here with the clip in the back. So for me, it was a really great marriage of our atelier, this incredible artisan, Elsa's technique, the Lesage embroidery from the 30s, it's this entire cocktail that comes together. And I think this collection was always, I kept coming back to trying to find the harmony in things that didn't make sense together. And so we're always searching for something that felt harmonious.